Hello everyone, welcome to the Spiritual Climax Show. I'm your host, Mark Knight. Today we will be discussing how to find spiritual love. And it's the title of the show, or this episode, because I've had over the years, many people have asked me, how do you know if you're in tune with someone spiritually? Well, it's a pretty simple answer, and I hope I don't disappoint anyone, because nowadays people want you to use big fancy words and give a big long speech. But it's really quite simple. All you have to do, if you want to have a connection with someone, even if that person's not paying you any attention, you can meditate on that person long enough to the point where you become spiritually connected. And it takes a little bit of patience and also awareness. You have to be aware and conscious and seeing the signs that is working. Okay. One of the best things you can do is just think on that person, say that person's name, right, in a quiet space, your own quiet area, especially if it's outside. Okay, it's a good time to do that outside and just meditate on that person. And I guarantee you, I promise you, you and that person will become spiritually connected. Now, there is a danger in that. The danger is if that person is not right for you and you connect yourself spiritually, you're taking a risk of whatever hardships comes that person's way may come your way also. And I have, through personal experience, I have been in a situation where I've connected with this lady that she was a pretty open-minded person, and we were both open-minded, and spiritually we became in tune with one another. And it got to the point where I would be feeling bad for no reason. I would all of a sudden feel depressed and lonely and sad, and I couldn't figure out why, until finally one day I called her and I asked her how she was doing, and the emotions and things that she was going through, and the way she described her mood helped me understand what I was going through. Okay, that's what they mean when they say when you get married you become one. Now, of course, they've taken that and they've switched it and flipped it around, and they've said that, they turned it into a legal thing, and it's a binding contract. But really, that ring that you put on the finger, representing your marriage, or your everlasting love, is representation of that cycle, that circle, that never ending circle that just keeps going around and around and around. And when you spiritually connect with someone, whether you put a ring on their finger or not, when you do connect with someone, just understand that you're connecting with them and you're taking in the good with the bad. Just understand that. And that's when it comes down to how much do you love the person, really? Is it lust, or do you really, really want that person and want to be a part of that person's life? Can you accept the good with the bad? You know, those things are things to consider. Now, for those of you that are familiar with numerology, you may have a leg up in this, because I'm gonna tell you depending on how you do your numerology, some people do them differently. I use numerical pyramids. Anybody that knows anything about me, I use number pyramids, and I teach on that. I teach how different ways to use number pyramids. But if you are a numerologist, what you can do to ensure, and I mean you can guarantee a spiritual connection, by showing the person that you have, you know, a crush on, or whatever your feelings may be towards this person, show her how to use numerology, or how to complete a numerical chart or numerical pyramid, or just use numerology in general. Because when you do that, you're dealing with a spiritual element anyway, and whenever that person uses that numerology, they're gonna automatically, their spirit is calling on you. Okay, I hope that's not too complicated for some people. Some people might think that that's crazy, but I'm gonna tell you a true story. There was a young lady who I was not even all that interested in, and she saw me doing a number pyramid, and she looked at it and wondered what I was doing. She had never seen it before, and I showed her. You know, me at the time, I didn't know these things, so I showed her how to use the number pyramid, or how to create one. And wouldn't you know it, that after that, every time I turned around, we were running into each other. You know, if I go to the store, she would be there. I open the door to go find her, she's already there at the door. I pick up the phone to call her, she's calling me. And we became that much connected. We were just so connected, so it got to the point where it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous, especially on full moon nights, you know, things like that. I mean, it was just and I could go further into detail, but it's about the open mind. Okay, you could already be spiritually connected to someone and not know it, because when you living in this physical body, a lot of times we look for things to manifest physically. But if you use your spiritual self, your open mind, right, you will come to realize that the spiritual is just as important as the physical. Um, so I suggest meditation, thinking of the person, and soon Mother Nature will bring that person to you, especially if you're in a situation where you haven't seen that person in quite a long time. If you think on that person long enough and meditate, Mother Nature will bring that person to you. Okay. Now, also got to understand that there's a time and a place for everything. And if you're a numerologist, you should know your numbers. You should know what your numbers are, right? And I tell people this all the time. Sit down, write your numbers down, 1 through 9. And for each number, write down the meaning of that number to you. You know, for example, you might say the number 1 means the best. You know, the number 2 for me means love. Number 3 for me means a cycle. 4 means balance. Okay, just things like that. But it's not about what I'm saying. It's about you coming to your own conclusions about what each and every number means to you, the person. Okay, so once you do that and you learn, if you're able to sit back and learn your cycle, learn when, you know, if it's every 2 months, every 3 months, you know, every 4 or 5 months, however, you know, we go through cycles and times when important things happen in our life. Mine is every 3 months. Okay, I go through a shift. Like, for example, if things are going bad for me, I know if I wait 3 months, it'll flip. Okay, and that time period to end, and then I'll go through a 3-month cycle of not even necessarily everything going right, but just it might be a 3-month time period of things just even itself out and being balanced again. Let's say I went through 3 months. Let's say I go through, let's say January through April is hectic. You know, it's hell. You know, just an example. Some people might be 4 months, some people might be 5. Don't just find your cycle number. The young lady that I was speaking of earlier, hers was 4. You know, her cycles moved in 4. Mine moved in 3. It doesn't matter if the two people have 2 different number cycles. You're going to end up crossing paths anyway. Right? If you're spiritually connected, you're going to cross paths anyway, and it's still going to be right on time. Okay? But the most important thing is find out what numbers mean to you. Each and every number. Okay? Meditate on that person, and those numbers will soon show themselves to you, especially now at the beginning of the year. Some of you are already on a spiritual cycle and don't know it. If you was to go back in time and look over the years, you'll probably see that your life, important events have happened to you every 3 months maybe, or some people every 3 years. Okay, you just gotta start writing down dates. If you can't remember them, see, I'm good at remembering dates. Some people may not be. Start writing down dates. Okay, meditate on the person that you may be in love with. Okay, and from there start meditating on your number cycle, and that person will show up right on time.